beneficial of GMOs to agriculture? And that's one question. And then the other would be, what can farmers do about it? I mean, what options do farmers have? If they're
well, all the benefits that have been promised basically appear to have been lies. I'm unaware of a single one of the promised benefits of this technology that has been realized. In fact, 100% of the times where I followed it through, the exact opposite was delivered. They didn't only not deliver on what they promised, the exact opposite is what got delivered in spades.
So let me just ask you, does that mean they promised to have greater yields and
they promised to have greater yields and lower pesticide usage, etc. Like I said, you know, if you're dealing with unethical people that will lie or do virtually anything to make a buck, and that's what we're dealing with, the sky's the limit as far as what to expect, and that is what is being realized.
Michael Potter, do you want to comment on that?
Yeah.
Maybe you can tell us a little bit about
Michael Hanson.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I would just say that it is true. What the industry always talked about is that genetic engineering would have increased yields to feed the hungry and decrease pesticide use. And frankly, the reason they came up with those is because that's when they did focus groups. Those were the arguments that hold well. It had nothing to do with reality because, again, when you look at it, Monsanto, they were, up until about 5 or 6 years ago, 90% of the world's acreage and crops were in Monsanto trees. They're the most, what do they sell? They sell herbicides. Roundup or glyphosate's the #1 selling herbicide in the world. So what did they do? They, since that's an herbicide, which is a chemical that kills weeds, it kills anything that's green. And so the problem was you could only spray it to kill weeds before you planted, because as soon as the plants come up, if they get hit with the glyphosate, they're killed. So you take a gene that encodes for tolerance to glyphosate and you put it into corn and soybeans and cotton, and guess what? You can now spray glyphosate for the whole season, not just at the beginning, so you can sell a lot more glyphosate. So if you're the company that sells the glyphosate and you make a seed that's designed to use with it, that's great.
And that's why 80, on both.
Right, and they have a patent on both. 85% of the global acreage right now in transgenic crops, they have herbicide tolerance in them. The other main trait is BT. It's an endotoxin from a soil bacteria called Bacillus thuringiensis, which is used in organic agriculture. The endotoxin is actually not how it appears in the bacteria, and it's changed in some ways, but that's then engineered into plants so that they produce a poison, and it functionally allows you to then grow things like cotton and monoculture as opposed to more diverse systems. So when you look at it, the main traits are these herbicide-tolerant crops. And actually, if you look in the United States, late last fall, an update that Chuck Benbrook did on his first report. He did a report on the first 14 years of crops in the U.S. starting in 1996. If you look at the first 9 years until 2004, there was an increase of 120 million pounds of pesticides more were used on engineered crops in the first 9 years compared to non-engineered ones. It actually turned out in 96, 97, and 98, engineered crops use less pesticides, but since most of these are herbicide-tolerant ones, weeds start to evolve resistance and you have to use more and more, etc. So in the first 9 years, there was 120 million more pounds. Chuck did an update which used from 2004 to 2008, or 2005, 2006, 2007, and 2008. And in that, in those 4 years, there was another 205 million. So turns out there's a total of 327 million pounds more pesticide have been used in the United States over the last 13 years, the first 13 years of engineered crops in the U.S. So it does not decrease pesticide use. It has, in fact, in the long term, led to an increase of over 300 million